So the VOD that we'll be starting out with, I'm just going to pop the link open, is from Flying Hawaiian, who I do believe is in chat.
Nice.
I feel like I saw
Do
Flying
you
Hawaiian.
like pick-up lines about pick-up lines?
Pickup lines about pickup lines? Maybe. I'll take it. You know, try one on me. Try one on me. Okay, we're going to be taking a look at Flying Hawaiian's VOD here. They're going to be playing Zarya on Numbani, which is definitely going to be interesting to watch. This is an Xbox VOD. Can't seem to get my voice recorded. I do remember with the general discussion being said. I know you have had some people chat along with you, and I could do that. Other than that, Zarya's been most played hero, but once I hit mid-diamond, I feel like I've not been able to climb with her. I hit my peak playing solely Moira. And this is going to be at roughly 3.3k. Chat, I made sure to fill up my glass of water before the stream started, so my voice will hopefully not give out.
A few moments later.
Hello?
Hello.
I can hear you. Yay.
Sweet.
All right. Well, let's get it started. Let's take a look at what we get to see here.
So I know at the beginning, like, I've gotten up to 3,500 now on my Moira, so I've been trying to practice that.
Nice. Good for you.
But
Find them Moira.
so that's why
well. So
that's why I like first pick it, and like I'm like I want to practice this because this is when I was really trying to get at it. But the one's like I can't be off tank, so I was like I can do Zarya.
Fair. So I guess let's skip ahead here. Kind of just see what your team does.
Yeah. You can skip up.
Okay, so this is when you swap. So you grab Zarya here.
Yep.
Oh, let me just back up to, so our comp, we have an interesting comp here. So we're going to have, this is going to be a Zarya, and we have Ryan and Brig, which personally I don't like a lot. Like those three heroes I don't like a lot for Numbani defense, just because it's really hard for you to play the high ground. But I can't really blame you for picking Zarya here, because clearly you're picking around the fact that you have a Ryan and a Brig. And if those guys aren't necessarily willing to swap, there's not much you can do. Ideally, you play Diva and Winston. Or Alright Monkey, and then you play like a Zen, maybe, if you want to. Or Lucia. Lucia is also fine here, potentially. I think even in this scenario where you do have a Ryan and a Brig, I still might pick Diva over the Zarya, just because the only people who otherwise on your team are going to have any control of your high ground is your Hanzo and like maybe your Sombra, but a little bit less so, which means it's going to be like Hanzo's drop to sort of solo contest the entire high ground the entire time that you're on defense here, which is going to be really tough, because if they're smart and they run like a 6-man dive on this Hanzo, he just gets obliterated, especially since your Ryan and your Brig are probably going to be playing on the low ground. They're not going to be able to offer him any sort of peel, and Mercy, Mercy is most likely going to fly away from him as soon as he gets dived. So this could be a little bit tough. But regardless, we're going Zarya. So let's see what we can make happen here. So as we get out, let's see where people are setting up. So it looks like our Rhine. Oh, where did my epic pen go? There it is. Okay, so our Rhine and our Brig. So Ryan and Brig are looking to fight in sort of the old traditional spot where when you used to play a ton of Reinhardt, you would play Reinhardt up there. It looks like
I'm gonna say this is still meta in console. Like this is like 99% of fights on Numbani is a Ryan and a Zarya trying to push up here.
Ryan,
both offense and defense.
Interesting.
Like I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah.
I always get dragged along.
That's very interesting, considering the PC meta for this map is very much like Diva Winston dive or some form of dive on the top.
Oh yeah, I've faced that and I've gotten destroyed before because of it. Yeah. I'm like, I want to do that.
So, and then you have Hanzo and Mercy are on the opposite high ground behind you. It looks like you're probably going to go at top and join them, and then your Sombra is existing somewhere, doing Sombra things, which I think, given the comp that you have, this is probably what's best, since there's not much else your team is going to be able to do otherwise. So your Ryan goes for the Fire Strike. Your Sombra's looking for a little bit of poke behind them. You get a good bubble off on, I think that's your Brig who was feeding?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was your Brig. Your Sombra manages to feed and die, so that's unlucky. So now we've made a good trade though. We've made a it changed to we've made a better value trade. In that they're down their main tank, so we should still be able to fight this despite the fact that we're down to Sombra. Oh, we lost our Brig, went in too deep and died, so now we actually do have to back up a little bit. Get the trade on the Lucio though. Good bubble on your Reinhardt. You take out the Brig and then the Reaper. So yeah, this is not too shabby. Not too shabby of a cleanup here. Looks like we're gonna clean up this Zarya. A minor thing, I noticed that at close range, I'm not sure how well the controls on console lend to it because I am a PC player. But close range, you really do want to use melee.
Is it melee? Yeah. That's something I have to work on. You can do it pretty easily. It's something that I definitely, when watching this myself, it's like I didn't do this at all.
Yeah, because you will like find that your time to kill increases a little bit. It increases significantly when you're hitting like full right clicks on people with a melee. I think if you had done that, the Zarya who grabbed the Mega, I think she would have died before she got to the Mega just because you were chasing her. You had a couple of your teammates backing you up. I think she would have died just a little bit faster. But so far, this is looking good. That was a good start to that first fight. I know you said your comms are muted in this VOD because it just didn't want to record them, right?
Yeah, the Xbox is weird. It doesn't if it doesn't record game chat. It'll do Xbox party chat, but not game chat.
Okay, yeah, and that's why like we can see that your teammates are talking, but we have no idea like what they're saying. So I don't know if this Mercy is communicating to you or not, or if you're communicating back to her, but there is potential for her to res this Hanzo. If she calls when she wants to do it and then you just bubble her, she should be okay to get that res off, which I think is what has to happen, especially since your Sombra finds a way to feed here again. Yeah,
that's what we were talking like. Let's see, she asked if she could get res, so Ryan was moving up to
shield the res, and then they came in and charged for it. You did point out that you did bubble yourself early. You also missed the bubble here. I think it was intended for the Reinhardt and ended up on the Brig. Let's go back and see. I'm not sure if it's just a matter of your crosshair was closer to the Brig, in which case, unlucky, aim better, I guess. But if it wasn't, we'll go all the way back.
It was meant for the Rhine, but
yeah, I can definitely tell that it was meant for the Rhine. Yeah, so you just weren't on the Rhine. Or, well, maybe you were. Let me go back a frame or two, because at one point he was like right in front of the Brig as you start. Yeah, this is tough.
Like it's there.
It's like right there. It's like right where. So maybe, I don't know if, does console have bubble sensitivity?
It does. It has all those things.
So I would maybe try and adjust your bubble sensitivity just a little bit. Maybe that might help scenarios like this, but this one, like, that's, like, it's tough to tell you to aim better when your Reinhardt is right on top of your Brig. And she just happens to be there. So they get the shatter off. You manage to kill their Rhine. And now we're down 2, so this is going to be a little bit tough to contest anything, and your Sombra's going to go in and feed again. So I think really that's just a matter of like, we have to get the res off on the Hanzo, and your Rhine has to not push forward and your Sombra has to not feed. I don't think, aside from like minor things like the melee right click, there's nothing horribly misplayed by you. I think that contributed to the loss at that point. Just minor stuff.
Meester's being more the shot caller, just like, the Rhine.
Oh, okay.
But here I ask him to tell me when they're near this wall.
So you want to bubble them. Because you want to, or not bubble, grab ton search them.
Yeah, he said yes, but I didn't get anyone.
Well,
we got one person, I think.
I can't blame you for that necessarily. It's also like if it works out that they're kiting more towards this side than they are to the other side, there's not much you can do there. I think that's fine that you play off your teammate there and you try and set up a good play, and it looks like you're gonna win this fight regardless. Like, you should have killed enough people here. Oh, your Hanzo walks into that. I don't know if you called to him that the Hanzo.
I said Reaper's left by Mega, and
okay,
he just walks into the room. I'm like, shit.
Okay, not your fault. We can definitely chase that guy and kill him though. Oh,
Mercy went for a res. I tried to body block her.
That's good. That's good that you did try and body block her here. I don't think she called it, which is unlucky. So it looks like your team is just going to lose this because that Reaper lives forever and farms ult and kills everybody. So now we have to go for a reset here.
My ultimate is charging.
So let's see what happens. This is Diamond, and it's console, so I have a guess of what's going to happen, which is that more and more people are going to continue feeding and dying before our regroup happens.
It's 50-50.
Yeah.
So
your Hanzo finds a way to die. Your Ryan's going to charge in to try and contest because he doesn't really have a choice.
Yep.
And then you're going to try and contest because you don't really have a choice either. So the classic sort of second point feed and die is happening here. So I know you were saying that your Ryan is being a bit of a shock collar in this game, but is he talking about the ults that your team has or wants to use, or is anybody on your team talking about that?
We were all talking about that. He was more saying like where we're gonna go, what we're on, and stuff like that. I think Hanzo wasn't talking, but he was in chat. So I was telling him that I have Grav, and he was saying like understood, I think, or stuff like that. So.
Oh, okay, cool. So one thing I would want to sort of get prepared for in this next fight, right, is they have 5 minutes, and you have to absolutely win this next fight in order to hold this here. The biggest thing I would be afraid of is we haven't seen their Grav, so I would assume that they have it. We haven't seen Shatter, so I would assume they have it. Dragon is going to be scary. So we have really like 3 very scary ults that could be coming up, and then this Reaper has probably farmed maybe 40 to 60% charge. Plus they're gonna have support ults, which is gonna be scary. So the biggest thing, like especially knowing that they have Grav more than anything, and that they have the combo with the Grav more than anything, is I would want to use these 2 ults as soon as your team can group 6 here, because your Sombra needs to EMP this at all costs to stop it. Otherwise, you just get Grav comboed and then the game's over.
I get another very unlucky bubble in this next fight, I remember.
Uh-oh. But this is pretty much gonna like come down to your Sombra hitting the EMP and then your team following up, because the Zarya is the priority target here. She needs to die, and so does the Hanzo. Yeah.
That went on the Sombra, not the Rhine.
Yeah, it did. The good news is your team does what I wanted them to do, which is they comboed the EMP Dragon and won the fight. And we forced Grab as well. So this is good for us now. So I'm going to pause here as soon as you hit tab again. Their Ryan's feeding a little bit. Kind of an early bubble here. I would save it just for a little bit longer and make sure you get max energy. So they're popping Rally. So
I heard a Reaper top left.
Okay.
I was trying to call it out, but then my Ryan charged in.
Yeah.
And you can see he's shooting my Mercy, and I'm kind of like stuck here.
Yeah.
I don't want to go forward because I know he probably has ult.
Yeah. I think in this scenario you have to farm. Oh wow, and he made it in. I was gonna say you have to farm your Grav, and you have to look for the most high value Grav you can possibly find, because with Rally they're just gonna try and mow your team down, and your Ryan goes in, the monkey jumps in. I don't know if you saw it at the very beginning, maybe I'll go back, but he jumped in and nobody peeled for him like at all. I'll actually go a little bit further back. There was actually like no peel. Oh, maybe I need to go a little bit further. You're gonna see the monkey jump in, like he drops his bubble. Your Brig is kind of like rotating towards your Hanzo. Your Hanzo is this little guy in this corner. The monkey jumps on him, And I mean, he's not in voice, so he isn't calling for help. But basically, he's having a bad time. Your Mercy is focused on your Rein, or focused on your Brig, who is frontlining for some reason. Your Rein is charging in to help your Brig, who's frontlining. And you're looking at the Reaper that you can hear up top. So basically, this is your team having literally like a bunch of different priorities. Your Brig is like, I want a front line. Your Mercy's like, I want to keep my Brig alive. Your Rein is like, I want to hold down the front line so my Brig's not frontlining. You're like, I don't want my team to die to this Reaper. And the Hanzo is like, I would like to live, please. So this is where, like, if like the team is communicating as a whole, or if you can call where you want people to be in the fight, you can tell your Brig to come back here, which will cause your Rein not to charge in. You can call that you see the monkey diving your Hanzo, which will maybe make the Mercy turn to look at him. But as a result, your Hanzo dies, so the Reaper gets free reign to come in. He kills your Mercy, and they're gonna run over your team. So here you have to just die really quickly now. Like, in situations like that where you see your team just like getting wiped, you want to die as quickly as possible. Like, don't strafe, don't bubble yourself, just walk in, especially since you've already farmed like your ultimate, you already had it at full. Walk in and die, because like you need to have the fastest reset possible in order for your team to spawn as 6 and utilize, because your win condition now, since your team, the only other ult your team's is going to have is support ults, your win condition now is on you hitting a grab as you come
I was telling my Hanzo to play safe and try to build up his dragon, because I knew that was like the only way we win the recontest. Or at least that's what I thought.
I think here, even if he doesn't have dragon, because you have the rally and you have Valk, you have the potential to keep a Reinhardt alive, and plus with the damage boost to everybody, you have enough damage, I think, in a grab if you hit a big grab to kill everybody. But like the true win condition here is just that when you spawn as 6, is 1 that you spawn as 6, and then 2 that you hit a grab.
Okay.
So let's see what happens. So yeah, as a result, you're gonna spawn a little bit late, but we're gonna trade our Mercy, which is unlucky. So at this point, I would be calling for your Brig to rally. Oh, never mind, she died. So that's not gonna happen. So you have no supports here. So now this is all gonna come down to your grab.
Yeah, and I'm holding it as long as possible until he builds it up.
And I think, honestly, at this point, you should just use it because... Oh, wow, he actually built it up. Oh, you're big. Never mind. It was just enough. It was just long enough. Look at that. I was gonna say that play could go either way, just because you're gonna die. So if he doesn't have it built up, everybody's dead and not able to follow up. But it looks like your Mercy also spawned with Valk. Your Brig did pop rally and lost it. That sucks. So now we managed to hold it, but at what cost? So now our only ultimate is Shatter. If we get lucky, we maybe build these 2 ults up. If we're lucky. So we can't count on them. But your Hanzo has great generation for the fact that he just used it and is halfway to another one.
Meester makes the call to do a flanky
flank shatter. Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely can be a good play here, especially if they're not expecting it. Biggest things we have to worry about. We saw them use Coalescence. We saw them use Rally, but they're probably at 70%. I would say, just because the Brig lived for a long time. She's at 70, maybe 80% or more. They probably have Death Blossom again. And they probably have Dragon and Reinhardt ults. So our biggest thing is that we get a better shatter value than they do beyond anything else. And that means we have to pool all of our resources into this Reinhardt, no matter what. We have to make sure the shatter goes off and goes well, or else bad things happen. So since he's called the flank shatter, that means that you want to keep your bubble for him so that he doesn't get Brig stunned on the way down or when he peeks the corner. Your Hanzo picks off their Moira, which is going to be really good here. It's going to buy you guys a little bit of time. The Fire Strike comes in. I think in this scenario where you are literally at 0 energy, I think it's okay for you to bubble yourself and catch it.
Yeah.
Your Reaper feeds. This is a little bit of an early bubble, but your Ryan gets the huge shatter. There was a lot going on there.
Double dragons across the sky.
Yeah, double dragons across the sky. So let's go all the way back here, because there's a couple funky things that happen here. So first, you kind of just frontline and bubble yourself while you're taking not very much damage, which I guess is okay because they're all looking at you and ignoring your Reinhardt.
Yeah, I'm trying to like keep their attention.
But this is honestly like not the place I would want to have you positioned, is so close to this wall, because as you can see with your Sonic, their Hanzo is prepping to shoot a dragon to you. So if you basically what happens is if you face tank this without using your bubble, you can use your bubble to rotate out into a better position. So I think that's why you die here. And then of course, if you're able to rotate into the better position here, you don't get Brig Bash, because what happens is you walk in to try and mouse one people instead of right clicking, which you can do from a safe distance. So that way, when the Brig gets, like, what happens is their Brig got unstunned and she bashed you, which then made you stand still in the dragon because there's not much you can do. So I think when people are shattered, like, unless you know they're gonna die, like, before they get unstunned, you should, generally speaking, use right click, and I think right click is generally better than mouse 1. The only time I would use mouse 1 is if it's to kill someone, if there's a priority target of the people who are lying down. So for example, if they shatter something like a Mercy, right, and you know the Mercy has Valk and they're gonna win the fight off of that Valk, and everybody needs to focus that Mercy and kill her, then I would primary fire her instead of using your alternate fire. But in a situation where there's just a big cluster of people lying on the ground and you just want to kill them, I would mouse 2 and then like get yourself into a better position, because ultimately, like, as long as you have a little bit of energy, you can stand out of range of the Brig Bash by a little bit. And then once she's used her bash, that's when you can go in for the mouse 1. So being aware of like the enemy team CC is also important for you as Zarya, because you can use your bubbles to negate the bash, not only for yourself, but for your teammates. And once Brig Bash, it's a little bit better for your team to fight here. So then they pop, you know, every other ult that they have in their pocket. They have the Primal, and your team kind of falls apart and wipes. And it's just going to be your Brig trying to stall. So a couple of misplays, nothing too, like, egregious, but just, like, minor optimizations I think you can make that'll improve your play.
Yeah.
I think that those first 2 points are unfortunately just your Sombra fed out of control. And, you know, sometimes you have games like that.
That's one of the things I was, like, watching. Like, I was trying to watch pros, how they use their Zarya bubbles, and the thing I was surprised the most is how long they hold onto their bubbles.
Yeah. You really do want to hold on to them until the last possible second, because especially as players get better and better, they're going to play, like, the attackers are going to play around your bubbles. Because a Zarya who doesn't have self-shield anymore and is frontlining is free. She's a free target. There's nothing you can do. You don't have movement abilities to sort of escape, and your bubble is sort of your primary threat as Zarya, because if they shoot you while you have bubble, you get so much charge that you can, like, you know, an 80 charge Zarya just melts a 200 HP hero, and 100 charge Zarya versus an enemy tank is an ult factory. Yeah, it's just an ult factory for the Zarya.
Well, what happened? No. Super embarrassing. No, I'm like, oh, I thought you get trapped while with the bubble. I have the most hours on Zarya, and I don't know that.
Yep, you have to walk into it and then bubble. That's why usually what I do is I, like, tell my Reinhardt, if I'm playing Zarya, I tell my Reinhardt to do it. That way, if, like, any extra damage comes in, so you can see that they're shooting, like, Junkrat nades at you, if, like, he manages to bounce those into spawn, and your bubble breaks, your Ryan can just pop up his shield really quickly and make sure, like, nobody eats any damage. But at least you guys had the awareness that the trap was there. You would be surprised how many players I see.
No, I am surprised.
Aware that the trap is on the ground.
I am always surprised by that.
So this is good. We kill the Junkrat stuff. It looks like we're going to be taking top. We kill their Briggs. This is really good for us to play aggressive here. I'd want to frontline just a little bit so you can farm charge and then rotate your Rhine in. Your Rhine just charged nothing. But I want to tell him that we bubble for him. He got trapped, so I wouldn't bubble him while he was trapped there. I wouldn't bubble him while he's trapped. You just let him use his shield. But now we have 2 picks. So we want to just take this high ground and beat him up. And this is great. Where you are here right now is totally fine. We're gonna rotate onto the point. Nice. And so just like that, like what you just did is exactly how as Zarya, like you can be a real piss on any Brig player's day. If you bubble her bash, she gets no CC. Her ability is on cooldown, and you get some free charge for it. So that was really good. And this is good where we're holding the corner here to force them to go back. But now that we've killed them, now we want to go forward and be really aggressive.
Yes, I am calling that very much. Like go stagger them.
Beautiful. This is perfect. So yes, get those right clicks in.
Just want my Rhine.
Your Rhine joins you. We keep pushing them. This is perfect. This is exactly what we want to do on attack with Rhine Zarya. We force them to use Valk. This is even better. And we kill their Reinhardt. That's fantastic. Still, that's fine. They're going to waste the res on him. And you farm grab. So perfect. Very well played. Very well played.
I was surprised by that. By that charge.
Ooh. Big grab. And your Hanzo's going to follow up. As is your Pharah. Beautiful. Look at this. You're killing them all. You're huge. The world's biggest Zarya. Big. You're massive. And your team's still like pushing this payload around the corner. We force them to use Visor. We force them to use Valkyrie. So the only thing we really have to worry about now is that they maybe are getting close to a Deadeye. And they probably have, what's it called? Zen Transcendence. Yeah.
Yes, I totally missed that. I'm usually pretty good at following that, but I totally missed that on this.
Yeah, perfect. We pushed the payload all the way, and they didn't even really get to have a fight with us. That was perfect. Very well played as Zarya. And look how much ult charge you have. Like you're already probably you probably have the amount of ult charge that their Zarya currently has, like right now. So that's big. Urine's going for the good old Bonobo charge. It works out though because you bubble him, farm energy off them. Your Pharah shits on their soldier. And where was that? That sounds
don't know.
Okay. So it sounded to me like he's like right, like just around this corner to your right. And I guess your Pharah is here and your Hanzo like peeks the shield. That's unlucky. Yeah, your Pharah is peeking the front, and your Hanzo peeks the shield. So I think it was just at that corner. So they ult here. You help your Mercy get out. And it looks like at some point we swap to an Ana. That's cool. Your Mercy's just chilling and you back out. So this is good because you managed to escape with energy.
So the next thing that happens is super. So I've asked my team, all right, tell me when you're there. All right, we're going.
Oh, you
yes, I got two.
Go.
Where's my team? Where's my Rhine? Where's my team?
They're not even there with you. Wait, they tell you we're ready to go.
They did not. They didn't. Yeah, they said they're ready to go and went up top, but didn't tell me.
Ouch. Damn, that would have been a play and a half. That's actually that's a literal, like, where is team? Where is team? We just don't know. That feel when team debates you. Team actually debated you. You haven't hit tab, so I don't know what your Hanzo's. Oh, there we are. It just happened. As soon as I you see, you just complain and then you get what you want. Okay, so we have combo. which is a big smile. They, by now, have their Grav. They should have Shatter. They should have Valkyrie again. They should have Zen Transcendence. They do not have Deadeye because we saw them use it. And I would think they are close to or have Soldier Ult. Maybe they don't have it. I didn't really see him too much in the kill feed.
Yeah.
It's not unlikely that he doesn't have it, but I would hope that he's close.
I know my Ryan, like with the off screen, fed twice.
Yeah,
like,
he did because he shattered. So. He shattered and fed. So
there was damage to be had.
There was damage to be had indeed. So the biggest thing here is we need to find a way, primarily to get either a good Grav and deal with their Transcendence, which we can use Nano Boost on either our Reinhardt swinging into it or onto our Hanzo. To guarantee some damage that's going to go through the Transcendence.
I thought Nano no longer stacks.
Oh yeah, no longer stacks on Hanzo. Fuck, that's right. On this guy. Feels bad.
As a main support, I know I have to pay attention to these things.
Feels real bad. Blizzard, can I have this back, please? I would like to have these back. It's not fair. It is completely arbitrary that it doesn't work on Hanzo. Smile. Anyways, you boost you nano boost the Reinhardt, or if you're high energy, you nano boost the Zarya, and then you have the Dragon Ult go through, and all of that damage will counteract the Transcendence. Or you have to agree to sort of take the next fight dry and try and force their tank ults. And then maybe try and kill the Zenyatta and bait him into trancing early.
So the talking was all on our ults and not their ults. I'll admit that.
Yes. So this is definitely a scenario where you have to be thinking about their ults. So it looks like we pop. Ooh, big grab. Doesn't look like we use our nano boost though. And our dragon comes really late. So this is definitely... Oh my god. He has that again! Holy shit! What a god! Yeah, so this is a scenario where we're talking about our ults, not their ults, and we're not prepared for the Zen Transcendence. We're not prepared to follow up on the grab because our Hanzo ult's late. We don't use the nano boost. Oh, I think my Discord just crashed. Uh-oh. A little bit unlucky that Discord has decided to cuck me out of talking with Hawaiian. We were having a good conversation. Discord re. Okay, nice. We managed to kill this. Your team needs to decide where they want you to go. Oh no, you jumped off and the eggshell did go top. What does your Hanzo want? Like, he needs to join everybody else. Hello?
Nice! Bits get だぜ. Deo, how dare you make the accusation that the Jeff plan is a mortal and can make mistakes?
Oh, our tire dies. Our Ryan charges away from you and leaves you to die.
Is the programmer's
nice and as a result,
not the developer.
Holy shit, a lot just happened in this play. Holy crap. A lot just happened in this play. Let's back up here. So I'm going to assume that the call here was that your Ryan had a play that he wanted to make with a shatter and a tire. The tire gets destroyed. Your Reinhardt walks out. You bubble him to try and keep him alive. And then you bubble yourself trying to escape to join him. As a result, the Reinhardt comes out of nowhere and shatters your whole team, and then they attack visor. So there's not a lot you could have done here. Like, this is team doing 5 different things at once. Your Hanzo is not playing with the rest of the team. Your Ryan comes up with a plan, and then Bonobo charges away from you and leaves you to die, and then your supports don't follow either you or the Reinhardt, so you definitely die. This is unfortunate. This is a big unfortunate. Strenus, thank you so much for the 25 bits. Everything is Jeff Kaplan's fault. Hee hee smile. And Hazard hosting me. Thank you so much for the host, babe. Hope your stream was amazing. if you did stream. OCD Walrus, welcome, hello. Carcana, hello, hello. Alright. So, we saw them, hopefully press tab again here sometime soon. We saw them use Shatter. In the last 2 fights, they've used Shatter, they've used Tac Visor, and they've used Deadeye. So we want to assume that they maybe have Mercy ult again. They're probably getting close to another Zen Tranquility, and they should have Graviton. So we want to try and like take a fight. He has it again! Okay. This guy is building the world's fastest fucking Deadeyes I've ever seen. Like, this guy is farming ult. Jesus. This guy is an ult farmer. At this point, I'm just gonna, like, the fact that this has happened twice now, for the rest of the game, I would just assume that this guy has ult every fight because he's farming people. I don't like that your Ryan is ADing, like, literally ADing on the payload here, and as a result, we have this big Reinhardt no man's land where he's not doing anything. I would ask, like, I would be encouraging him to go forward and take a fight, because as a Zarya here, there's very little you can do to contribute besides like M2ing the shield. If your Reinhardt just lets this space stay, and as a result of letting this space stay, the rest of your team is in perfect view of this flanking like Deadeye, and there's literally nothing you as the Zarya player in this situation can do. Like, you're gonna be able to like get to safety and hide from it, and you're gonna be able to bubble one person, but your whole team just wipes here because as tanks we're playing really, really passive. So that's a feels bad.
It's high time.
Oh wait, nobody lives. The May's a god. When did you get a May? And the McCree drops and dies. Your Reinhardt hits a fat shot. Out comes that the transcendence we were talking about. Your Ryan manages to knock the your Ryan manages to knock the Zen away, at which point, like, as soon as you see the Zen leave, your priority should be on anybody who's outside of his transcendence. So your whole team should have been focusing this Ryan, which is not really what happened. Like, if we, oops, can I go back? If we go back even further, like, it's good that you bubble your Ryan here so that he can get in. And then you turn, but everybody else should also be like looking at this guy. Like, while you're waiting for your bubble to like be off of cooldown so you can cast it, you should be focusing on him, then turn and bubble your Ryan. And then that way you can kill this Reinhardt before the Zen comes back. The good news is you do kill the Zen as soon as he comes out of Trank, which is really, really good here. I have no idea why you randomly have a May now, but you know, it's working. We get a good freeze on the Reinhardt, and it looks like we're actually going to be able to push this. What is your Ryan doing all the way up there? Good God. There's so many weird things going on. Kind of a wasted self-bubble there a little bit, but you did manage to farm a Graviton Surge. So, we're now going into what we want, for our sake, to be kind of the last fight here, which is that...
Nice! Bits get
wow, bits!
Go.
We have our Graviton Surge. We have Mercy Valk to damage boost. We're gonna have Shatter, and we're not gonna have DPS ults or our Nano boost. So here, what you want to do, the order of priority here is 1. Oh, that's not the button. 1, Shatter. Like, get this guy to have Shatter up and look for a Shatter. Look for, even if it gets 2 people, even if it gets 1 person, it's enough. After the Shatter, you can grab and your Ryan can swing into it, and then 3, go back to step 1. Oh, we're back!
We're back.
Holy shit!
I don't know if you knew that. Like, it popped up, just said that you invited me to a call.
Yeah,
like, oh.
We're back. It reconnected. Feels good. We're back. We're back in Discord. So I don't know how much of what I just said that you heard.
I was on 1.
Okay.
On 1.
Okay, so 1, we need to enable our Reinhardt to Shatter.
Okay.
And then have him use that Shatter. So is get that last 20% of charge, have him shatter. Even if it hits one person, even if it hits like 2 people, it's enough because we can immediately follow it up with a Graviton Surge, which your Reinhardt can swing into. And if the people in the Grav don't die, it's okay because he is shatter again. But that's the play here for this final fight. And looks like you're gonna live. Your maid did a really good wall there. Big grab, big grab. Again, that's where a scenario where you want to be using those melee right clicks. Your Mercy whiffs the res somehow.
Yeah. She flew a little too high.
Yeah, your Mercy whiffs the res. And at this point, we've invested a lot of ultimates and we're coming up into this last fight and they've just tack visored, so I'd be calling to the team to hard reset just because like you have to take this next fight as 6 or it's over.
The payload is in my charge. Let us move it.
Oh, it looks like you guys somehow won that fight and they just like backed off and let you have the payload. Good bubble on the Reinhardt. Evaporate that guy. Oh, bubble that Mercy. Yes, you're big!
Guys,
Big
anyway.
bubble on her. Your Rein just shattered a shield? Question mark? Why? Oh my god. Please tell me you guys win this. I would focus the Zarya here over the Moira until her coalescence is done. Oh, you had to dodge that Reaper. I don't think you knew he was like where he was on you. Your mate gets the blizzard off. Yeah, he was to your left.
Yep. As soon as I turned my head, then I started getting hit, and I didn't understand what it was. I was kind of.
Oh, I can't believe you guys lost that. I was so close. Damn, that's unlucky. Dang. Okay. End of the VOD. Final thoughts. Things I think you can improve on. 1, D.Va, really good. Even even in a scenario where like you are playing off of a Reinhardt and a Brig, I still think like D.Va and Numbani is insanely strong because you're the only person who can contest high ground. I think 3rd point is really the only point where I would absolutely run a Zarya over a D.Va just because there is no high ground anymore. So having that low ground support for your Reinhardt is really valuable. Second thing I would work on is M2 plus I can spell M2 plus melee. So the charged right clicks plus melee do a lot of damage and are really good as a way to damage shields or to damage enemies or do chip damage or farm ultimate from afar, which means that as Zarya, I'm going to add a 2.5. This will help with your positioning in that you'll be able to position, if you have really accurate right clicks, you'll be able to position further away, which means that when you do use your bubbles, you're able to use them like from a place where you can go in and out of cover. So like you peek cover, you go for some aggressive little fights, you use your bubble, and then you go back into cover or behind a shield where you're safe. You continue doing damage, you continue farming ult, and then when you want to push forward in your high energy, you can do so with a bubble in your back pocket, if that makes sense. Still there?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
For a second there, I was like, uh-oh.
I'm just thinking how it would work within that game right there. Sorry.
So, okay. So to sort of contextualize it in this game on that 3rd point, right? I'll back up the VOD just a little bit. Let's see if I can find a good, we'll back up just a little bit. It's not going to make much sense in the context of this fight, but like, I'll give you a positional example. So, obviously not in this specific scenario where the card is around the corner and you have to come and touch it because it's the last 30 seconds. But say, I mean, you guys had the cart stalled in this general area for quite a long bit of time. This was kind of where you guys were stuck trying to get through. So a lot of the time what you'll do is you'll take the fight at this corner right? As Zarya, your Reinhardt is going to be looking to try and progress through here. You're going to want to try and bubble him first, and then, you know, as he backs out, you're going to walk forward and bubble yourself, and then you're going to back out, and you will have his shield, which will be in the general space of this pink rectangle, and then you'll also have the natural cover of the tree and of the side of the wall, which means you actually have all of this space now to peek and throw right clicks, which will increase your ult charge. So you do this until you're, say, at your 80 to 100 energy, right? Assuming you hit 3 good bubbles. At that point now, the next time your Rein decides to rotate himself in and be really aggressive, right? And he's swinging at people and you hit him with the bubble. When you go in behind him, right, instead of him having to rotate out, you can just be hyper aggressive with him, because now you're at 100 energy. You deal a ton of damage, and now you can get into melee range to have the additional plus 30 free melee damage onto people. And it's a lot scarier. So that's how I would use that specifically. So I think the first thing we talked about was D.Va good.
D.Va good, yeah.
D.Va good. 2, alt fire
M2
plus melee, which leads into 2.5 positioning based on your range. Since your range, like the range of your primary fire beam, is determined by how much energy you have. So the more energy you have, the further away you can stand from people and be safe. But your alt fire has essentially infinite range, assuming like you can angle the shots across the map, which I don't think anybody realistically expects you to do, but I mean, it's a thing you can do. But it allows you to play at the maximum possible distance from people, which is always good whenever you can, because then it means that when you are up in people's faces, it means that you're there to kill, and you're there to confirm kills, and you're there to do the melee damage. And then the last thing, what's the last thing I would give you to think about or to work on? Maybe I would think about the enemy ult economy, because I think this is a thing that kind of like cucked your team a lot throughout this map. Was there was not an awareness. There was very good awareness of what ultimates you guys had, but not an understanding of how those ultimates would interact with what the enemy had. And I think that's the last little thing that will take you from diamond up into master, because then you'll be able to exploit the enemy's ult economy into your favor when making plays.
All right.
Yeah. Any sort of other thoughts, questions, shout-outs you want to make to chat?
Green Arrow Snipes, because he gave me the gift sub for this.
Yay! Thanks, Green Arrow Snipes. You're the best.
The thing I worked on before this, so like when I first got into like mid diamond, I noticed like I was getting 0 energy, and like because from plat everyone would like just shoot any bubble, and then suddenly like I was getting nothing.
Oh, that would be a good fourth thing to bring up is bubble management. We did talk about that.
That's what I was trying to like. That was what I was working on this this game specifically.
I think you did like there were a couple of minor missed bubbles here and there, but I think overall you had, at the very least, the basics were there in terms of bubble management. But definitely, I think try and look for scenarios where you can hold on to them for as long as possible, because in those scenarios where they see that you've taken a little bit of chip damage, that's where you know when you can bubble and you're going to get the full 40 energy every single time.
All right.
Awesome. Well, thank you for submitting your VOD, and thanks for being willing to come chill out with me in the Discord, despite Discord being a haha.
No, thanks so much for doing this.
You're welcome.
Definitely helped me out.
All right,